but some comfort there. Otherwise, they don't really have champions you demand banning, so I would actually ban still Master Yi or Taric and really put paid to there being any of these boosting strategies or the sort of building up the carry funnel strategies in mid. Still see a Taliyah ban today. See what Afreeca Freecs makes of banning away another one of these funnel strats.
Taliyah, no fun is basically what everyone's been saying, whether she's in the jungle, in the mid, or in the bot lane. And it's going to be another mid lane ban there as the Zoe gets taken away.
Definitely start off standard, I think, with the first pick here, and then consider Master Yi, Taric at Sungwon and Lava's pick. Maybe you just avoid it, because from banning the Zoe does mean Nocturne is available.
It's true. Has made its way through, and yeah, it feels like a bit of a no-brainer there. They go ahead and lock that one in.
And against other teams, you might consider first picking Shen and then taking Nocturne if it was available second round. But against Spirit, our best Nocturne player, you ban it away. So, smart ban here. I wonder if Spirit will follow the recent trend and follow the interview we had after game number 1, where the thought from Score was, well, if Nocturne's farming to level 6, why don't I jump on Sejuani and farm to level 6 as well? Seeing a bit more level 6 junglers available with the Nocturne meta kind of upon us.
Oh, Vladimir going to be locked in. Afreeca still thinking and considering what the second pick of this first half is going to be. And maybe not Sejuani, but something also a little bit more tanky. Can also help chew up any tanks on the side of Hanwha with that ult. But it's going to be the Trundle locked in.
And it's going to be something else that doesn't need to have the highest pressure, because going for something like a Xin Zhao seems to just be exploited by teams playing defensively. Standard LCK, of course, in that way. So why not go for something with the utility and with a bit of breathing room, because you're against a Nocturne. It's not expected to hit the lanes too hard. Action back onto Hanwha Live Esports. See what they can find. Because we've had some differing bans, the Swain actually makes it all the way to second round.
Yeah.
And with Vladimir already locked in, there may be no range damage dealer on the side of Afreeca, and Swain has been dominant in this meta. So power-wise, feels like they got 2 S-tier picks in the first round.
See where these want to go, both the Vladimir and the Swain.
Might consider Alistar here just to threaten the Alistar Swain lane that Afreeca played so well earlier, but why not pair Shen with your Nocturne? Go for the scary engaged duo. Gotta say, power-wise, Hanwha Live Esports probably feels they have a bonanza already.
Yeah, this is looking fantastic for them so far. That
mean,
Stand United channel in right as the Nocturne flies into the Paranoia.
Doesn't mean it all comes together. Kuro has liked the Vel'Koz into the Swain, actually. The Anivia is another big pick, and I feel like Anivia and Vel'Koz are the 2 picks I'm looking at from Kuro to try to deal with. Sort of comp that Hanwha Live Esports putting together. We have our resident top lane Aatrox main in Keen, who's going to jump on it here. Blind pick, which is not something that every top laner will do, but Keen's proficiency makes it a blind pick. Could be Shen, but probably going to be something else on the side of Hanwha Live Esports.
Yeah, up until last week, you think about it, when we were casting them versus Kingzone, he was deathless and undefeated on that Aatrox. Did suffer some losses and some deaths in that series, so he did ultimately lose, but he is very proficient with that Aatrox, so going to be major comfort for him, even in a blind matchup.
They ban away Linderong's Darius. Good matchup for the Darius, and also Linderong's most played this season. I was kind of calling for Linderong to diversify from the Darius, so I'm happy to see he'll be on other stuff. Might be considering a Singed in this game. As I mentioned, the picks against the Swain, Anivia, Vel'Koz. I wonder if they would ban both. The Anivia, a great ban nonetheless, because when you're running a lot of different bruiser short-range champions, the wall is just the worst thing ever.
Saw Kuro playing that one out very, very handedly with the Anivia.
Our highest DPM champion in the entire league is the Anivia, because of the one game from Kuro where 5 people were sitting in that ultimate for as long as possible. It's a very amusing number.
What does DPM end up being?
It was ridiculous. It was over 900, I think. So
we just had a 1300 the other day, did we not?
I gotta say, it's an average thing, of course, for DPM.
True.
The Yasuo banned. Interesting. I wouldn't have expected Yasuo in this game from the side of Afreeca, but it's going to be banned anyway. Could be a Vladimir mid lane against Swain. It's possible. But Swain is seen as a good matchup into Vladimir. And I think Hanwha Live Esports are waiting to see if the Swain is going bot lane or mid. So you probably want to keep that to your final pick. And that's why I like support here. And, well, there's power picks in the meta, and there's Tucson's Rakan, where the two things coalesce into just the scariest thing ever, and Tucson got Rakan.
Yeah, you guys saw Madas. It was pretty damn good in the first series, but
Tucson's better.
Tucson's is better. On his day, it is absolutely ridiculous. For now, Jax maybe going to be a pickup that we see here for Hanwha.
That'd be fun into the Aatrox, ability to win some of those trades at different points. Cool to see the Jax come through. It's going to be top lane Jax. Hanwha Life are going to have to show their cards. Who's going mid? Who's going bot lane? Ooh, a ranged damage dealer.
Oh my.
Could be a denial in some ways against Afreeca, but Kramer has already seen that he's very liberal in playing the Vladimir and other non-marksman champions in bot. They flash it, and they just go for the Ezreal.
Yeah, was left open here. Not going to be banned away, and makes it all the way through to the final pick for the side of Hanwha, and they snatch it up for Songyun.
Now they can choose Vel'Koz very freely against Swain, but then Nocturne does well against Vel'Koz, so you kind of have a bit of pause there. Same kind of thing with Zoe. When you want to keep range, the Nocturne can be frustrating. What does Kuro make of this? He's going to be against the Swain. He flashes the Vel'Koz, he locks it in.
And it's going to be locked. So Kuro bringing out that Vel'Koz yet again into the mid lane, try to deal with the Swain. Afreeca have been having a wonderful season so far. Want to make it all the way into the World Championship because they don't really have to go that far. Basically going to be in the backyard here in Korea for Season 8. Dropping games here to Hanwha, that's something that instills doubt in your fans, in yourself, whether or not you can make it to that World Championship.
And while the Vel'Koz answers a lot of this comp, it doesn't answer the Nocturne. At least Nocturne is only one dive. It's the Nocturne with Shen. They can get away from that. If his flash is enough, then he has the potential to turn and deliver. And oh boy, does a Vel'Koz deliver against a comp like this, but it is an element of risk. Kuro looked a bit resigned to it. He sticks with it, and we see Kramer back on that bot lane Vladimir after a week and a day that's been defined by the return of the marksman.
Everybody going to have to be communicating really well on the side of Afreeca to deny that dive from coming in with the Nocturne, with the Shen. They have tools like the Pillar, like the Rakan to slow up the threats that are trying to get on top of that Vel'Koz. But communication isn't clear that Afreeca might just be losing their mid laner over and over again during these fights.
Will it be the competitive series it could be, or will it be Afreeca bouncing back from their loss to Kingzone Dragon X and just you running at Hanwha and overwhelming them? Both things are possible. Hanwha Life is the one running the marksman, so theoretically there's an Elo Heaven at the end.
All right, well, let's see what's going to happen, guys. Last series at OGN for the week. Hanwha Life going up against the Afreeca Freecs. We'll see if they can close this one out. Another 2-0 tonight, maybe. Let's find out as we jump in for game number 1. Out cheers from the audience there.
In case you're wondering, the Hanwha Life fans are chanting Hanwha Semyoung fighting. I might have been mispronouncing that slightly, but basically that's the Korean name of Hanwha Life, so they have slightly differing names for the regions. Afreeca fighting, some Afreeca fans there. There's a big Songwon fan.
Tucson fan that was on the right there, but yes, Songwon, I believe that's his family actually here to visit. Saw them down in the lobby. They took a selfie before they came upstairs.
They've been representing quite a lot. Songwon gets a lot of support from his family. Always cool to see. Helps that we're in kind of in Seoul, where it's very easy for a lot of people to move around and get to places. Can be more difficult if you're more geographically disparate, like other countries. Spirit having a bit of a dance. The double ward on the bot side. No shenanigans at level 1 just yet.
I miss Alistair with his cowbell.
I know.
We need that back.
And then we had one game where someone chose an Alistair skin that wasn't the cowbell, and I just shook my head. I'm like, this is rubbish.
That's very shameful. I actually should just get you disqualified if you just lose the game outright.
I really want Alistair with cowbell and BBQ playing the BBQ Galio skin, having a dance battle in mid. That sounds
That'd be great. And then Trundle's just in the middle of all of it. Him and Garen. Man. In times past, that would sound like a really bad team comp, but these days, who the hell knows?
Exactly.
It could work. That's when you know the meta's real messed up when we have the Garens coming out.
good against Riven. That's a good Riven counter pick right
Yeah.
there. So if the Riven top lane meta is ever a thing, which it probably won't be, maybe Garen is around the corner. Speaking of around the corner, Sungwon pops around, picks up a scuttle, but now Trundle hasn't got to the bot lane scuttle, but he'll get to it soon.
Infernal Drake to start things off as well, so maybe we'll get some heated battles very early on in this series compared to the first match of the day.
A little bit less heated recently because the Mordekaisers are out of the meta, so you don't have that same pressure if you're the Mordekaiser team of, wow, how good will our game be if we get the Drake, compared to the opposing result, where it's been a little bit slower today, some more laning phases. We've had more marksmen, don't have two here, so at least we don't have the marksman versus marksman. Theoretically, everyone's happy. It's all a little bit crazy, but not too crazy.
Tapered off the craziness a little bit, so we're not going full Fiesta yet.
There's
Gameplay
time.
certainly could turn into it, though.
There's definitely time. As here's Tusin's all-time stats on Rakan. They're pretty damn good.
Yeah, 15-2 with a 5.9 KDA.
He has been a hard carry on this pick. He's won many MVPs on this pick. Speaking of MVPs.
Already looking for the engage there. Songyun able to jump to the side with the E, but still going to be very costly on the mana, which alleviates a lot of that poke that's coming through. So good trade all the same for Afreeca.
Coolest thing about Tusin's Rakan is that we definitely had a time where it was Xayah Rakan only on neither of the champions, but then we had some teams that would power pick only the Xayah. Ironically, Hanwha Life Esports were one of those teams. Songyun was a great Xayah, Bang also, and they would just play like Xayah Janna, for example, for SKT. Meanwhile, Afreeca would just power pick Tusin on the Rakan, and now that the lovers are often separated, it feels pretty good to see Tusin back on it regardless.
It's okay, they're still together. It's just a long-distance relationship, you know.
Have you interviewed them and made sure? Recently, I haven't seen them sighted together very much at all. Only once in our first series, and then almost never. Other than that,
You know, cost of travel's really high, so they're working on a budget.
it's fair.
It's okay. Let's do a second honeymoon. Everything will be fine.
Well, Kramer's on a champion that in the late game doesn't fall off like a Mordekaiser. You can definitely go Gathering Storm Vladimir and try to just scale up. So while it's not a marksman for the late game, Vladimir's pretty close. Some different mechanics in team fights, but does err towards the late game. Afreeca push up. The lane is in the middle. Obviously, Shen Ezreal don't have the most fantastic pushing, and that's why Vladimir and Rakan doing very competitively in that lane. And speaking of competitive lanes, we're looking for data points on this Jax versus Aatrox. So far, the only lane that seems to be pretty reliably strong into the Aatrox has been Malphite, as the attack speed decrease on the ground slam really does mess up some of his trades.
Saw Smeb play it. The Malphite top.
And then we saw it yesterday in a victory. Smeb did well on lane, but then fell away, whereas yesterday the full tank from ADD looked quite impressive.
Kuro just going to be spotting out Songwon there.
Kuro has to go the tier build. I think you'd much rather go Ludens on the Poke Mage in the Vel'Koz, but you're against a Nocturne, so if you get popped, you only have yourself to blame. Yeah, Stopwatch is going to go for Arcane. It's going to be a lower damage build, and Ludens is at a higher power level than Archangels after all the nerfs over time. But you got to do what you got to do if you're the Vel'Koz.
Spirit going for a bit of an invade here, is spotted out by that ward. Songwon's nearby, he's still trying to get these Raptors. As Kuro joins him. The big one, not so much on Spirit's side. Songwon able to pick that one up very easily.
No Zoes to kill people at the enemy Raptors, which is the storyline of the last couple of days, where just the most junglers have died playing around that Raptor camp.
Spirit once it gets frisky here, he's calling out for the assist ping. Will clear out the ward though. The Infernal Dragon now going to be spawned.
So Vel'Koz has guaranteed push pressure on a Swain because Swain has got wave clear nerfs over time, and as we know, Vel'Koz presses W twice and the wave explodes, such as Vel'Koz. So he can push in, and that means that an early Drake is very unlikely to have multiple members come from mid and jungle, probably only the jungle. But he gives up on the dream of that, goes top side, as it seems like Kuro was on a recall time.
Sim playing very far forward here, going to get taunted up. Shield comes down, he'll get popped up, but takes that tower shot, and the Ignite comes out from Key. Tusin will live, but now he's going to have to go back to base in all likelihood. Still has a couple potions in the inventory, but see how long he wants to stick around.
We can see that Songyun was a long way away from level 6, so no chance of a kill there. Tucson can walk up and take the honey fruit. They got control ward, so no risk in making that play. Yes, Vladimir doesn't have the item timing he wants. Wait and see what Kramer's decision is. It's Electrocute Vladimir, which is the common choice in the duo lane, rather than Phase Rush in a solo lane to be able to run away or engage. And a lot of different ideas about what Vladimir build should be. You could just go for rush into the Spellbinder.
Spirit getting closer and closer here, but the wave's pushing into the tower, so I don't think he's going to be able to find anything. Keen was hoping that Linderong would try to go in for the counter engage.
You need to see both Q and E, I think, too, for that gank to realistically work, if you consider all the pieces required to actually do lethal damage onto Linderong. Linderong's going to hand back. Aatrox can push because he has E to wave clear from range. And if you're trading farmers at the Jacks, you're probably feeling pretty good.
Darkflight still gets stunned up, but not going to see any further engage. Songwon was cheating very closely nearby.
I'm fascinated to know if 2-item Jax beats 2-item Aatrox.
Oh! Wow, 33 remaining. Kuro says thank you for the assist. Shakes off that damage, picks up the blue buff.
Both top laners rushing Ninja Tabi. Just the reality of facing these kind of lanes. Hanwha Life coming as a team topside, spotted on a multitude of wards.
Yeah, and Spirit's nearby. It'll be a 2v3, but already Keen taking quite a bit of damage. We'll have that passive ready to go, so he'll get picked back up, and Spirit's here just basically to gatekeep everybody back. Kramer using the TP will cancel it in the end.
Kramer was the extra one who had to involve resources. Kuro also walked up, so in the end, it's a positive trade on the side of Hanwha Life. It doesn't feel good for the Paranoia to be on cooldown. It's top side.
He's getting rooted down into the stun, and Keen, he will fall for first blood. Lava picking it up after he stays behind.
You wouldn't expect the mid laner to stay that long, I'm sure. That's the same thing Keen is communicating. But Keen taking down on the Aatrox. Creative stuff from Lava. Well played, Hanwha Life Esports.
Meanwhile, on the bottom side of the map, there's going to be a big amount of damage going forward in on the Tucson. As the quickness puts his way into the back. Keeps himself alive. Songyin as well falling low, manages to escape.
Supposed to be a time where there was no threat on Afreeca's top lane. They knew Paranoia was down, but Lava is creative in how he plays that. In the bot side.
Now he's in behind in the bot side. It's
With
going to be the standing
boys
coming through. Lockdown in on the Tucson. The True Shot Barrage takes him down as Songyin finds his first kill. Pool will come through for Kramer, but the taunt is perfectly timed and aimed. Key snatches him up, and meanwhile, in the mid lane, Kuro also going low. Seems like he might just make this one out with his, makes it out with his life. Goes for the Disintegration Beam, and that's going to be Songwon having to flash away. Man, we just got action all over the place. Hanwha Life really putting their foot on the gas.
Everything's coming up Hanwha Life with this play. So it's a teleport onto the ward you see next to the Grom, and a straight-up turret dive. Because of the earlier timing on the stopwatch, you're not really worried about dying as the Swain. They get both kills. Kuro could have died to a Duskbringer. I wonder if it was going to be a flash Duskbringer for a weird angle. He went for it, had to defensively flash after everything. Hanwha Life Esports explode into a 2,000 gold lane.
2,000 gold, 3 kills up. Wonderfully done by them, and now Afreeca very rarely is going to be on the back foot as they try to regain some semblance of control in this game.
And you just have to be excited about Lava because he made 2 plays that probably only he would have made. Staying topside and then the aggressive teleport turret dive with the stopwatch available were both quintessential Lava. Creative, but had huge results, and it's the sort of thing that Afreeca Freecs are going to feel hard done by, that they were ganked in such unpredictable fashion. The VOD review for both teams is going to be very interesting because very creative but very successful from Hanwha Life.
Yeah, no punish whatsoever. See there, Kuro going back to base yet again. Doesn't have the room to pick anything up, just going to be refilling that potion. Otherwise, Lava is absolutely terrifying here with this Swain. Another taunt coming through. Trying to get the lockdown on the Tucson. He'll take a little bit of damage.
Again.
From Key. And yep, he's coming down towards the bottom side. In the meantime, Songwon, Paranoia, ready to go. Start picking up this Infernal Drake, and there's nothing really that Afreeca can do to answer this.
Hanwha Life are getting advantages where we could not have expected. Against Vel'Koz, Swain is roaming instead of just being pushed in and owned by the Vel'Koz range. And they're getting advantages all over the map from it. They've got a turret dive out of it. They've got a Drake on their weak side. Everything's coming up Hanwha Life. All because Lava has had a day out.
Absolutely incredible. Spirit picking up yet another Scuttle Crab, was spotted out by that ward right in front of the Rift Herald, so Songwon able to really just keep tabs on this Trundle the entire time. And the Spirit hasn't found a way in for a gank this entire game so far.
Again, not picked for the ganks, but definitely feels bad to be second to the enemy mid laner, while the enemy junglers kind of just had to farm and put down some wards to spot you. We're looking at some of the Afreeca vision, which top side is pretty complete, but apart from that, they of course had to trade that for bot side, already to the tune of an Infernal Drake. And
there's one ward and it's behind them in their brush.
Yep. That's what we're seeing. Thank you very much for that toggling. Seeing Lava able to push up for now. He's at level 9, so obviously the pushing advantage for Kuro is less pronounced than before. Spirit rolling through mid lane. Going to try to find some action somewhere, but so far been very well denied.
Maybe we just have to wait for that TP to come back up for Lava. See another play come through.
Yeah, Lava was hoping that he could be shown to be threatening by leaving lane, but we know there's enough control wards. There was no way for Afreeca to feel any sort of risk of there being a collapse.
One ward cleared out, pushing to the river, but not really much to be found there with the rest of the sweeper.
Kramer bringing back an old build. Shirelia's, after the Fairy Charm was added in, basically to nerf Vlad by saying, well, it's a bit more expensive and you're paying for mana regen you're not going to use.
Yeah.
Still going to be used. We see a lot more Protobelt or Spellbinder these days, but onto the one-on pass right this time.
Shot and he takes it away. Songyun.
Jing.
He's got no vision there. He just... Oh, wait.
He doesn't.
He does have vision. I was looking at the wrong thing.
That's okay.
My bad.
That's all right.
It happens every now and then. It was a good steal. That's all I'm trying to say.
Definitely feels good. The first one, I believe, was blind. That one, not blind, but definitely well executed. Songwan's going to take the Rift Herald, and, you know, 2 for 0 might be the trade in terms of those neutrals.
Well, get a nice zoom in to celebrate the blue buff steal. That was totally envisioned. Wonderfully done by him. Second time is the charm in this instance. See here, though, Keen falling behind. Kuro zoned away from the minions a bit.
And I want you to consider item timings. Ezreal has a Trinity Force. Skipped over going for a Mana Moon and then a bit of Trinity Force, and went straight Trinity Force, which worse for stacking, better for initial advantage. We already know the 5-stack Rod of Ages, that was a 9-minute Rod of Ages, maybe even earlier, coming through from the Swain. And then consider the item timings on the side of Afreeca. Archangel sucks compared to Illudens when it comes to a 1-item power spike.
Yep.
And the Seraphs is still going to be delayed. The Shirelia's is for utility more so than just the Vlad, and it's a later spiking item. This is actually a way bigger lead at 14 minutes for Hanwha than even appears. It's 3,000 gold and also better items built with the gold that was picked up.
It's also another roam up to the top side, but Keen is saying, I want nothing to do with this. I'm just going to back away from the tower. Take it if you want. Just don't kill me.
Well, the Rift Herald is definitely going to herald the end of this particular turret. Goodbye. Hanwha Light playing this perfectly, also playing to that item spikes this, rolling up and saying, hey, you want to fight against us? We've got some pretty cool items. The enemy team says no, and that means that Afreeca Freecs getting snowballed on real hard.
Yep, there's going to be a lot of damage in onto the turret, already down to half HP. Hanwha going to be happy with that. Herald will die, but Jax, he just get a ward line through that top center of the jungle. He can play forward, start chipping away at that tower by just forcing minions into it. Already immaculate. That's been the word of the day so far.
Oh, yeah.
And this is pretty immaculate from the side of Hanwha.
It's really strong. It's really clean. It's been smart. It's been creative in a way that KT didn't have to be. The turret dive, again, like, it sounds overstated, but I don't know anyone else that would have teleported to the enemy blue and turret dive with your just fresh 9-minute Rod of Ages. It's a pretty insane play. But playing towards your item timings.
Spirit's not been doing a lot of thwacking with that club there. 141 damage so far.
Another 500 or so, and he'll get above the meme numbers, though. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Killing the memes. Riot Games did it, getting rid of Dynamic Q and the other things. Spirit's trying to do it for his own reputation.
Keen's still trying to play up
where there's no tower. I would really like this Rift Scuttle, and nope.
Not going to happen.
Nothing for you.
He's not able to be assertive.
I mean, they can't be at this point. They can't with the items they have and the gold lead that Hanwha has. It's kind of Afreeca just waving the white flag and saying, we'd really like to have another 20,000 gold. I'm not sure how much you'll have by then because we can't fight, but like we need that gold.
Yeah.
Kind of the worst feeling as a Rakan when you know that if you engage, your team will lose.
And two characters really, two champions here really slipping behind them. Vladimir now down almost 30 CS. Top lane as well, 25.
It's also most of a Titanic Hydra against entire Trinity Force for huge item disadvantage as well.
Jax is going to be able to kill him with a couple W's.
I actually like the Swain going for extra combat stats here. He's actually gone into Oblivion Orb. Usually I'm a big fan of get the Zonias as fast as possible if the game is even. But when you have a stopwatch, why not get the damage, the flat pen right now? And then if you land the next team fight, your damage is going to outstrip their damage, and your tankiness is enough with just the stopwatch to go for the damage, try to blow this game open, and ensure that Afreeca are really going to have to think twice before they choose to engage.
I don't know if Afreeca will ever choose to engage at this point. It looks like, honestly, it's just going to be dictated by Hanwha. They're going to be able to show up and be like, yeah, we're fighting now.
It's really hard for Aatrox, Vlad, and Rakan to do anything but engage when push comes to shove. Maybe the push hasn't come to shove just yet, but I take your point for now at least. They're rolling over our Afreeca Freecs. It is the right move. They all ran in and tried to ult. It would go badly, but Ocean Drake goes down. Second Drake of the game. You're happy it's not going to be 3 Infernals. It's going to be 2 Oceans in fact.
But even then, you'd probably still be very happy just to pick one up. So it's one less dragon on the side of Hanwha Life.
I'm now looking at this game academically. How cleanly can Hanwha Life close out? Afreeca could come back, but Hanwha Life are this very unpredictable team when it comes to evaluating. And also, Jax versus Aatrox. When they reach items that look a bit more clean, 2 items, I want to know what that man fight looks like, because Jax has the 1.5 seconds that might be enough to turn it over to his side, but might not because of how much lifesteal the Bloodthirst with Rageblade combo provides. It's going to be a little bit less, as the Snowball item choice here is an Executioner's Calling.
Yeah, healing not going to be reliable at all for Keen. Seraph's Embrace at least going to be completed here for Kuro, so the shield will be there, but now we need to get some damage. So we can actually try to melt some people down. 5,500 gold here in the lead for Hanwha.
I think he's going to have to go double defensive. This is where going for the Vel'Koz against Nocturne feels bad. It kind of looks like he's just going to go straight into
Zonias.
The Zonias. Now you could, again, just make a Morellonomicon and just go from there, but you could also understand the Zonias against Nocturne Jax running at you. So it's not really a clean answer. I think Seraph's Zonias from behind is too much defensive stats. Kind of the idea of, well, if you're behind and you build QSS, how are you going to win even if you have QSS? It's one of those weird scenarios where you do need the damage and to play to the situation rather than just to play to a pre-existing build.
Looking for the play there on the key, but hit dash right through that pillar, so he is not even going to be sweating it.
If you're the side of Hanwha Life Esports, you want to get forward vision, threaten the side lane push, and then take this mid lane turret. Very hard to do against Vel'Koz with his stopwatch still up, but that will be the ideal thing. And if you can just monopolize the enemy red side jungle, walking around the Baron and the enemy top lane turret, those are maybe easier objectives than trying to take Vel'Koz's mid lane turret.
Really good reaction there from Tucson. Shadow dash out of the darkness there from Key, and manages to get away with a dash of his own. Very well could have led to his death, or at least him having to use a flash. Now Spirit just sitting in the brush. He is, he's got wards pretty much no matter which direction he decides to take, as long as he doesn't walk, unless he wants to walk back towards the base.
This is the worst moment in the game possible for the side of Afreeca. They're against just Transform Miramana and 2-item Swain and Baron as spawn. There's so many different things for them to respect. We know that Hanwha Life Esports hasn't started the Baron, but there's no way for Afreeca to know that but face check.
They're looking to push in here. That's going to be the taunt, getting the connection in onto Tucson. He is just going to get melted down. Key finding that final blow. Generation Ray comes in. Kuro gets a lot of damage over to Shen. Big knockup coming through Keen, trying to keep him alive, but cannot do so. Spirit gonna fall. That's a 2 for 0 here for the side of Hanwha Life, and now they might actually be looking at the Baron.
The Kramer can't actually teleport because of the paranoia. Didn't know where to go, so they don't go for it. They're going straight onto the Baron, and they have so much damage.
That they do. Take a miracle steal from Kuro, just Hail Mary, throw something over the wall, try to get it. Gonna be pushing forward.
Gonna try.
Kuro's still low, doesn't find the initial hit there on the lava. Keen gonna get rooted down, pulled back in. He's at half HP already. Kuro trying to poke out. 2,300 left on the Baron. They're focus firing this one down. Kramer tries to get over there, but cannot do so. Baron goes over to Hanwha Life, and they find a 3rd kill at the same time.
This is not something we expected to say today, Achilles, but the perfect game is on. 21 minutes in, nothing for Afreeca so far. Brilliant play. But when everything comes together, Baron spawns as all of your items spike. Miramana just transformed. There's no good decision for Afreeca. They have to check it because of all the damage on the side of Hanwha Life. Lava gets into the back line as 2 items. Swain is a monster, hasn't even used a stopwatch yet. He's going to ignore Zhonya's. He doesn't even need a Zhonya's. He walks around and everyone gets scared. Exactly. Unleashed power would be a better use for this ult. Syndra can eat her heart out. This one is definitely the Demon Flare is basically an AoE nuke at this point. They got the Baron super early, and well, struggle street for the side of Afreeca.
I'd say that most nukes are probably AoE.
True, true. That will be the quantity of nuke. The size of nuke usually does go to the Syndra though. Push through mid, and the Bannon at 22 minutes is the worst thing ever for the side of Afreeca because, well, they have no way to kill it.
And no way to stop Hanwha Life right now. 2 turrets going down. Tier 1 and mid, Tier 2 up top.
Afreeca are so screwed. What do you do?
Head between legs and FF.
They actually used the Trundle Pillar to move the Bannon closer and then smited it. That was the biggest play. That's a super play, actually. But
sick outplay from Spirit.
If Spirit didn't do that, they would have lost the Innitar.
I'm really curious how much damage he's going to have done at the end of this one. We might have a new meme on our hands.
Well, I mean, theoretically, he'll get to hit someone when they're trying to end the game. Hopefully, for Spirit.
Or he'll just get CC to die.
This is true. This could happen.
Well, all of the turrets are being destroyed. Just going to be the inner there in the bottom side of the map. Last one standing, 13,000 gold almost. Coming through here for the side of Hanwha.
Banner of Command still on cooldown. Keen's had to build a Giant's Belt. That feels really bad. Now he's never going to be able to beat the Jax in a split push. Songwan pushes up, and you know what that Giant's Belt says? It says, well, maybe we can turn around and fight if they overdive. With if I have a little bit more health and don't die as quickly. Scary thought. Sounds like a loser's mindset, but Afreeca really are losing. They're behind a comical amount of gold. It's 13,000 gold lead for Hanwha Life. They still have Baron for a minute. They've got Infernal to make their gold stick harder, and we're getting to let's avoid perfect game territory for Afreeca Freecs, and this is the team that was looking odds on the best so far after 3 series.
Also the team that has probably the most perfect games.
Oh yeah.
In recent history at least.
I don't know if they've ever been perfect games. I don't remember one of those.
I think it might have happened once.
Maybe in the Mickey days of 2015 when they were a bit up and down, but I don't remember that. It could have happened. If you know the stat, find it, please do tweet at us and let us know. But certainly the other way was much more common.
Yes. Hanwha Life stepping to Afreeca Freecs, giving them a taste of their own medicine. Turns out the medicine's poisonous. If you're Afreeca.
I'm glad that you specified that. It wasn't clear. Yeah, you know. Hanwha Life can't break the base as the Baron times out. They'll just back away. Sangyun says, well, I guess this game could go bad, and builds a tier, just in case, for his 2nd tier item. Haven't seen too many Ceres Embrace, and also Miramana's finished this. There's a big power play. 8,500, one of the biggest we've seen in Korea. Snowball Gold plus Baron works pretty well.
I'm assuming these are rounded numbers to the nearest 500 or nearest 100.
I hope not.
Just exactly 8,500?
Yeah.
We had 7,500 in our first series, so that'd be a pretty big coincidence.
No, we don't have the information on that one. No inside info. Nocturne as the first item Guardian Angel has become more common in Korea, just to allow him a little bit more of an opportunity to dive purely to cause a bit of a threat, maybe blow a summoner, and then incidentally die in a team fight. Jax has the most items, and Keen has none, so that's a problem.
Yeah. I think the only thing that would be funnier than Afreeca losing this in a perfect game is if Afreeca somehow wins this still.
It's not impossible, but if you ask me what it looked like, it does involve either a multitude of fails or a lot of disconnections on the side of Afreeca. So I don't know if Hanwha Life Esports are going to have those current internet problems without a pause. We've had plenty of pauses this week.
Yeah, I was assuming you meant disconnect in communication.
Yeah,
but
I was actually talking about
that one would work as well.
I mean, Afreeca do have 5 other players. Surely they could rush the booth and try to, pull some plugs. That competitive ruling will be interesting.
Yeah. What happens if they just start fighting in real life?
You know, there's probably some like loose wording kind of rules about that, but let's put them to the test.
Yeah. Let's find out what happens.
I always think that wrestling and esports should come closer. I'm sure hitting someone with a chair would be quite effective.
It's really hard to lift these ones. They're pretty heavy, these gaming chairs. Not nearly as easy as the steel chairs you're used to seeing in wrestling.
They're also steel with a inverted comma.
Yes.
They hurt, don't get me wrong. It doesn't feel like a cushion, but I think steel is...
more like aluminum.
Yeah. Hanwha Life push up. Not a lot of gameplay to discuss, guys, because Hanwha Life owns all of the map and have all of the big guns, and Afreeca, unfortunately, brought spoons to a knife fight, so they're not doing so well.
They haven't played Knifey Spoony before.
No. I'm not going to say it, by the way.
I wasn't going to make it.
Yeah, you were.
I wasn't going to ask you.
You make a reference to the Australian episode of The Simpsons, and then with an Australian on the cast.
I'm not gonna try to force you to do anything.
I know you. I've cast with you for more than a couple of seconds.
Say you with the accent. Say the funny thing.
Forget about it.
Yeah. Exactly. That would get you hit in like New York or Boston. Hey, with this accent, can you say that line from that movie?
Well, I'll try and avoid that particular discussion. All right, Hanwha, no more brush camping. You are insanely far ahead. The very assertive control ward, because they're going to just clear out the scuttle, or sorry, the I should say the blast plant when the Baron spawns.
There it is.
All right.
The Baron spawned.
Now, if they run into Baron, more than a 0% chance something bad happens. So we'll see how Hanwha plays this out. They played the first Baron super well, so if they could recreate that one, that would be big. The gold lead, comical in every role. Average is 2,000. In summer lanes is 3,000.
Shot coming through. Just going to take a nice chunk off of Kuro.
They're running out of stuff. They have 5 control wards, no blue trinkets available to the side of Afreeca. They have flashes, so I guess someone could use one of those to check.
Jusin walking up.
He doesn't want to waste
back.
something like a control ward unless his team is in position to do something if he's engaged on.
If only you could trade.
This exact passage
he's going to get dragged back in, and he just disappears!
Not often does someone health bar instantly go from 1,000 to 0.
Good lord.
Man, what a job that is. Hey, could you scout ahead? Check if they're doing the Baron. I'll be over here.
The thing is, like, Hanwha Life could just start it. They're still expecting them to walk up. There we go. Finally started, but in a comical amount of time before.
And they're going in.
If he's going to come through, Linderong already trading a decent amount of damage there on Takine and Kuro. This is going to get duoed down here by Song and Zongwan, who have a ridiculous attack speed right now. And, yeah, Afreeca are probably going to get perfect games.
You know, I'm not willing to go there, as that was actually not the best smite ever by Zongwan. Oops.
Fully pillared in damage.
Let's do 1 true damage still.
Does it? Maybe. I'm actually not sure. Man, what a way to lose a Baron that was.
Before it didn't do any damage, there was that weird case where you'd pillar and it wouldn't count as an assist and things like that. So
yeah.
I'm not 100% clear. I know that the famous one is the Zillion countdown does like, I don't think it does anymore, but for a long time it did true damage. 1, 2, 3, 4. But yeah, I don't think you can steal Baron with a pillar. I'm gonna put it out there. The Gathering Storm is being matched on both teams.
Doing so well for Kuro right now.
I mean, they're really, really far behind Achilles.
Oh boy.
We can both be play-by-plays in a game like this, or just not talk about what's on the screen. Both of them are the same thing.
It's true. Afreeca just on ward clearing duty, and then just trying to protect towers. That banner's not going to last very long.
They're on waiting for a mistake duty, and there's still a lot of summoners left over.
Oh, can they get a kill? I think with all these people, it's going to be yes. So no perfect game to be coming through here. Hanwha Life, you threw it all down the drain. Linderong gonna get popped. He goes down 7-1. Afreeca on the board.
Told you they wouldn't get a perfect game. My prediction is on point, as they're gonna lose the top side inhibitor, because of course they are. Linderong apparently had the same job that Tucson did around the Baron when it came to scouting ahead. He didn't need to be there, but he chose to be. Alpha move by Linderam. He goes down, they back away. The Baron is still for a minute 50. He can still teleport back in.
So alpha. Well, one inhibitor down there in the top side. True shot coming back through yet again. Kuro, oh man, he just gets chunked down to half HP. Although one spell alone. Song1 in the meantime, bringing up the wave. Mid inhib is exposed, and with just a couple seconds, Songyun will burn right through this thing. How did we get here?
Well, it was a long winding road that started with Lava winning the game. So hopefully he wins the MVP for winning the game.
I mean,
staying top and then teleport turret diving.
I don't think you can really make much of an argument for anybody else.
And yet, sometimes the person I think should win doesn't win. And that makes me very mad.
Well, that's unfortunate.
I know. It's a cross I have to bear, Achilles.
Lada deserved it earlier, okay.
I know. But he didn't win. Well, he did win. That's true. I'm just like, well, I mean, everyone played okay, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Or I'm like, I think this guy probably shot called. I guess he wins.
We definitely have those games where we get asked who's the MVP and we say absolutely no. That's just going to be, oh my god. So much damage on Kuro. Barely floats his way out of there with his life still intact. Third inhibitor is going to go down, and Hanwha Live Esports looking to take game one in very convincing fashion. Certainly not the fast-paced, stompy games that we've been seeing, but I mean, this was just a crushing and slow defeat.
7-1. Chilean fans understand this. Looking for the end here. Hanwha Live Esports walk up. I don't see how anything bad could happen.
Moving forward, he's going to get popped up. Disintegration rate comes down, but he goes gold, and Atusin just disappears yet again. Kramer into the pool, Kramer out of it. He'll die. Double kill coming in at the end for Song1, and my god, 10-1 in the end. A very comical gold lead. 22K just about to close that one out. Hanwha Life take game one over the Afreeca Freecs.
This is why I needed to see this match before I pronounced it for the Afreeca Freecs. Hanwha Life Esports are always better and worse than you remember. In this case, way better. They smashed the Afreeca Freecs in game number one. Afreeca are not going to want to have back-to-back losses. The King Zone one, close. And in some ways, could have been expected because in the past, King Zone has matched up well against Afreeca. Even the history doesn't count for the side of Hanwha. And this wasn't the EU-LCS gimmicks. This was just a straight-up domination of Afreeca Freecs.
I mean, we heard from Songyun in his interview from just about a week ago. After a loss, taking out $1,500 team dinner. What happens if you 2-0 the Afreeca Freecs? These guys are gonna pop off like crazy with that meal. But Afreeca, they've got a couple minutes now to gather their thoughts and figure out what the heck do we do for this next one.
Different things to what you did in the first one. There'll probably be some roster change as well. Mowgli and friends may be coming in. Everything Hanwha Life did this game turned to gold. And Lava, the reason why he should win MVP is that we always talk about low-risk, high-reward plays. He made a high-risk, high-reward play and made it look good. And if you do that, you deserve the MVP for the turret dive he made earlier. Big damage coming through from Songyun. Looked like he had an Ezreal that had some extra oomph to it than most people could hope for. But Afreeca Freecs were out of this game very, very early into it, and there was no way to salvage it. If they went in, they would die. If they hung back, they would die. So they died.
1705 damage there from Spirit, so at least he is spared the tragedy of being a negative meme. But needs to bounce back and might even just be getting replaced in this next game. Like you said, Mowgli and friends might be making some visits. Maybe we'll see aiming in over Kramer as well. But very rough tidings for the start of this match here for the side of the Afreeca Freecs. We'll see.